I am a game developer. As a game developer, it is my duty to never go outside, never touch grass, and absolutely never have an actual upload schedule.
It stinks.
However, while out on my travels across the Balkans, something hit me. It was the ground. I had tripped and fallen over, but also an idea. What if I created a game where you attempt to traverse various obstacles while controlling your player 1 foot at a time? With such a game, I would have everything. The money, the women, I'd have it all. The minute I had the idea, I booked the nearest flight home to put this idea into action. I have to admit that I severely underestimated how difficult this would be to execute. First of all, I couldn't actually get the foot to move, as in I couldn't even get the foot to go down, but maybe this was for the better. Or at least, that is what I'm going to tell myself in order to cope with the fact that Unity crashed and the entire project simply vanished from my computer. But I was not about to give up. Not now. I painstakingly recreated everything and even actually got the feet to work. I even made a main body and the ability to turn. Truly groundbreaking, but there was one problem. In real life, feet don't normally do that. I should know, I actually have two. You see, in order to move the feet, I was using the function vector3.translate. While this does in fact let me move the dogs around, it actually lets me move them around a little too much. My first solution to this was replacing the vector3.translate function with the rigidbody.movePosition function, which in theory would do the exact same thing, but with physics. Yeah, it didn't quite work. My next solution was to get unnecessarily complicated. I tried using a raycast, which are these invisible information lasers, to check where the player wanted to go and stop them if they were too close to an obstacle. This only half worked, unfortunately, and when it did work, it was all jittery and very glitchy, but most of the time, it just didn't. My next idea was to do the exact same thing, but with a box cast. This is basically the same as a raycast, but instead of firing a single beam, it shoots an entire box. Yeah, this didn't work either. The solution that did end up working was creating a separate physics object that would follow the foot relentlessly, and if the foot got too far away from the object, it would get teleported back to it. Finally, after so long, we had reached a solution. The next step was to create an obstacle that would kill the player. In real life, if you step on a nail or something, it wouldn't kill you though. It would just give you tetanus. Which is why I made these extremely realistic simulation of the player falling over. From here, we could take many different paths, but I decided that I wanted to make a puzzle game with some odd movement mechanics. So I modelled a button and a door. You press the button and it opens the door. Very cool. The camera goes through the door. Not very cool. So I fixed it. Very cool. But there's a problem, my game is ugly, so I went to my favourite website ever, cc0textures.com, and finally figured out how to put together materials in Unity. So I put together a cool looking level, and that's not right. This is where I suddenly realised that I was going to have to rewrite a ton of the code I made for the feet. But you know what? This game has a purpose. A purpose to rehabilitate and allow technologically dependent individuals and allow them to reintegrate into society. I was in all honesty over this game after 3 days of working on it, but such a noble cause cannot be simply abandoned, so instead of creating an underground dungeon, I'm going to make this game truly what it was supposed to be. And so I created an agility course. I made a log bridge, I also made a log bridge, and to top it all off, a log bridge. Yeah, this game's a glitchy piece of shit and I don't really want to touch it ever again. Thank you. Yeah, so I didn't finish the game, and I don't really plan to. The game isn't really fun and it was quite tedious to make. This is a prime example of why we test games before we fully start making them. I have nothing much else to say except subscribe. My videos are usually way better than this.